My name is Viktor Hanuska. I'm originally from Germany, living in Greenville. My first contact with Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement was in the early 60s when I was a college student. At that time, as I grew up in the former American zone in Germany, we have been very sympathetic to the ideas and the objectives of the civil rights movement. And of course, the famous speech that Martin Luther King made in Washington, I Have a Dream, deeply impressed us, and we have had a lot of sympathy for these ideas. However, also we were surprised that in the early 60s, the country that we consider to be the most progressive in the world still had a problem with segregation of black people. This is something we didn't know. Later on, when then the civil rights, the laws were issued in '64 by President Johnson, we thought that was a big progress for these ideas. Somehow we compared Martin Luther King to Gandhi because he promoted peaceful resistance and peaceful protests. Of course, in '68, when he was assassinated, that was a big shock for us because we couldn't really understand why this country has had so many violent deaths of famous people. John F. Kennedy was shot, then Martin Luther King was shot, and later on then Robert Kennedy. So this also had an impact on our image of the United States. 10 years later, I moved to China in my professional assignment. And as we all know, the Chinese have their own problems with minorities. So they did not promote the civil rights movement or the ideas officially. But when China was attacked by the United States and the United Nations about their human rights record, they used, in a famous white paper, I remember, they used what they perceived still existing discrimination against black people in the United States to remind the United States that they have not a clean sheet. So this was the only opportunity I saw in China linked to the civil rights movement.